Hello everyone. This presentation is part of the fulfillment for an assignment on the Adult Learning course at Northeastern University. I have selected the World IT Show as the topic for my field study. This presentation will be divided into four main sections. I will begin with the background of the study, focusing on the Industrial Revolutions and the current status of the Korean IT market. Then I will share observations from the exhibition and identify the ways in which adults learn. Common themes will be discussed in relation to the various adult learning concepts. Behaviors of leadership within adult learning will also be highlighted. I will conclude with some recommendations for the exhibition and reflect on the study. So how did it all start? Every industrial revolution brought about numerous benefits and challenges to the socioeconomic status of the designated countries which were engaged with such transformation. There is no precise date on the beginning and end on the sequence of industrial revolutions. The first industrial revolution exercised the mechanization of production through the adoption of water and steam power. The second introduced mass manufacturing with electric power. The third popularized electronics and information technology to automate production. The current fourth industrial revolution introduces the era of combining information with intelligence. This new industrial paradigm is based on individualized production, horizontal integration in collaborative networks, and also the digital integration of the supply chain. The fourth industrial revolution in Korea refers to a highly connected economy supported by technology advancements in the area of 5G network, artificial intelligence, big data, and the Internet of Things. The know-how to these fields holds the potential to stimulate the development of new economic growth models. South Korea is the first country worldwide to launch the full-fledged 5G wireless communication network, which gave rise to superfast connection speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect multiple devices without slowing down the system. Let's talk about the World IT Show. In the era of industrial digitalization and transformation, companies of all sizes are gradually investing in the latest solutions and tools, which will enable their processes, employees, and services to be integrated into a single network for data collection, data analysis, and the improvement of performances. Korea is currently one of the leading global research nations. From its humble beginnings in the 1960s as a country in poverty until today, it has progressed impressively in the quality of research and technological advancements. Its rags to riches development is often cited as the Korean miracle. Korea today is a top leading IT country with numerous technologies showcased at the exhibition: smart homes, smart city, 5G, AI, IoT, AR, VR, fintech blockchain, smart cars, and smart devices. The fourth industrial revolution is a common topic in the IT industry in Korea. It represents a fundamental change in the way we live, work, and relate to one another. There are various commonalities observed from the technology exhibition, which describe the overall characteristics of the visitors and participants. Majority of them are observed to be Koreans. In an economy with higher levels of digital literacy, South Koreans are typically well-educated, well-informed, and tech-savvy. Thus, these technology-minded visitors are well-positioned to learn the values of the technologies, as well as provide some beneficial feedbacks to the exhibitors. So how did adults learn? The participants and visitors at the tech exhibition all seem to gain confidence in their learning process. Either they learned more about the market trends or they gathered more knowledge for their professional development. It is interesting to note that the information technologies facilitate and support informal learning for adults. Knowles defines 6 basic elements of adult learning. autonomous and self-directed, accumulated life experiences and knowledge, goal-oriented, relevancy-oriented, practical, and shown with respect. These elements were all observed from the participants and visitors to the event. Most learning were goal-oriented and relevancy-oriented, which portrays the various purposes of participants to the events. Learning was autonomous and self-directed, where visitors displayed their interest by initiating conversations with the exhibitors. Most technology trends were relevant to the daily life experiences. Respect was also shown in the area of the professionalism, and the participants cued with manners. Let's look at some common themes identified. Creativity, like learning, can be hard to quantify and measure. However, there are three types of creativity: replication, incrementation, and reinterpretation. It has been claimed that there are multiple kinds of creativity and that everyone can develop at least some of these kinds of creativity. Participants and visitors all possess at least one mobile devices, where they held closely and utilized the various mobile applications for communication purposes. It was common for the exhibitors to introduce their company through videos and brochures from their mobile devices. And most exhibiting companies had their own mobile applications where they could demonstrate the learning process to the visitors. Rhizomatic learning provide learning professionals boundaryless learning, which empower the gaining and unfolding of knowledge. It is witnessed that learning is self-direct, co-created, and relevant to the learners as they engage with each other through dialogues and the sharing of life experiences on various technologies. Through the sharing and distribution of new ideas, new insight emerge, and visitors' responses enable exhibitors to gain new lens into learning market perspectives. The relationship between self-directed learning and lifelong learning is reciprocal. Self-directed learning is a common way for adults to pursue learning throughout their lifespan. Lifelong learning supplements people with skills and competencies which are needed to further their own self-education beyond the end of formal schooling. Entrance tickets to the public exhibitions for visitors over 65 years old were free of charge in South Korea, and thus allowing the older generation to enhance their learning experiences and keep in pace with the digital trends. It is learning to witness that the wide range of age groups of visitors to the exhibition, and it is particularly compelling to see that the older generations were very drawn to learning new technologies and devices. Lifelong learning programs and opportunities offer senior citizens to remain active in society and not to be excluded from the cultural and economic life. Not only does the young generation enjoy games and interactive exercises, adults also find pleasure in learning when they are personally involved. The exhibition included several interactive technologies for visitors to fully experience disruptive innovation in their daily lives. Several virtual reality games such as theme park rides, sports exercises, driving ranges, and role-playing scenarios allowed visitors to merge themselves into the learning experience. Researchers have also highlighted how virtual worlds can be used effectively in the context of education and training. Now let's discuss the relevant adult learning concepts. A knowledge-based economy demands for educated professionals and specialized industrial experiences. Thus, learning fosters the self-actualization and self-realization needs. The transformative learning needs of participants enable them to step higher within a knowledge-based economy. They are able to distribute their insight to their surroundings in order to gain recognition. Adult learners are distinct in terms of self-direction, readiness to learn, and motivation to learn. Self-directed learning does not mean sitting alone in a room in order to learn something. It is more about the learner taking control of his or her own learning. Motivated informal learners seem to be more attracted by ICTs than motivated formal learners. Visitors who were self-motivated to participate in the exhibition were self-directed to learn. They displayed more interest in learning the various technologies and engaged with questions and listened attentively. Embodied learning described learning through the body. The variety of virtual simulation games and exercises allow the participants to learn something which they have not yet experienced. For example, the baseball game will empower the players to acknowledge the speed of the pitch and the experience on swinging the baseball bat. Not every learner is privileged enough to experience the learning with the real team or within the real space. But through such interactive virtual learning, the learning embodies the process signals through his or her own body. Communities of practice entail groups of people who share a common interest and who learn within that sphere of common interest. The technology exhibition brought together learners who are interested in finding out the latest technology trends, such as co-workers, professional associations, and engineering groups. Let me highlight the observations of leadership in adult learning. Adults and leaders both possess the knowledge of differentiation and are objective-centered in order to achieve results. Leadership and adult learning concepts both explore the autonomy of learning and making own decisions. Knowledge is acquired, processed, evaluated, and transformed into new knowledge. People were conscious about personal experiences and the development of perceptions on the world. Leadership qualities involve personal growth, conceptual understanding, feedback, and skill building, which correlates to adult learning theories. Let me move on to some recommendations for the exhibition. Number 1. It is critical to strengthen the 21st century learner's capacity by focusing on critical thinking, collaboration, character, and communication. Innovations in ICTs and the development of learning through technology could prove very valuable to small and medium enterprises around the world, which have to deal with financial and technological barriers. Education institutions and organizations should support the development of 21st century learning for students and adult learners in order to achieve economic growth within a fast-paced global environment. Number 2, an open space provided for others to reflect, to share, to discover, and to deepen awareness is a very privileged experience. The exhibition is titled World IT Show. However, most exhibitors lacked English communication skills, and most marketing brochures were only available in the local language, Korean. The language gap minimized opportunities for non-Koreans to learn, despite the event being known as an international one. The design arrangements were not prepared for global learning. Number 3. The inner dimensions of Confucianism embodies conservatism, which coexists with the Korean behaviors in the society. Koreans place great emphasis on saving face. Therefore, they tend to refrain from doing things that would make them less confident or cost them respect. Researchers suggest that people tend to avoid circumstances which may lead to losing face in front of their acquaintances. Communicating in their native language, Korean, would mean boosting their self-confidence when introducing their product. But to deliver information in their non-native language would cause them to lose face in public. Accordingly, they prefer to withdraw from scenes which would potentially cost them their face. Number 4. It would be valuable and beneficial if the event organizer had a mobile application to gather feedback survey at the end of the exhibition. These suggestions and recommendations can provide more insight on the visitors' perceptions and experiences, which may not be attainable by individual exhibition booths. As South Korea targets to gain presence on an international platform, it is necessary for exhibition planners to organize events which truly represent a global standard. Feedbacks and suggestions not only promotes relationships and networking opportunities, it can potentially also contribute to adult learning and training programs to foster professionalism. Now, I will conclude with some final reflections. Constructivism describes how adults' brains make sense of the world by connecting new information to past experiences and further create new knowledge. Our minds are actively interwoven with our senses on what we see, hear, read, and feel. Technology should be the motivational tool that generates endless opportunities for adults learners in the 21st century. The more we understand about how adults learn, the better we can design their learning activities and promote a better economic environment. Learning is no longer exclusive to the elite or those with a better family background. Technologies have made learning accessible to everyone. There is no standardized blueprint for technology integration. Henceforth, it requires training efforts to link technology to instructions of all pedagogical process levels and activities. I hope you have enjoyed my presentation and thank you. Are you ready for this new technology revolution?